Rhode Island marijuana cultivators say they're in danger of going out of business if the state doesn't work quickly to get more retailers up and running.
This comes after a Senate committee voted unanimously yesterday to approve the 3 members of the Cannabis Control Commission, which will have oversight of the industry. 12 News reporter Anita Buffoni spoke to a group of cultivators today. She joins us now with what they had to say. Anita?
Marijuana cultivators say they are on life support because of a slow rollout to Rhode Island's recreational marijuana industry. They have too much supply and not enough demand due to the lack of retailers able to sell their product. In the shadow of the Rhode Island State House, more than a dozen marijuana cultivators gathered to send a message to state leaders, telling 12 News unless the state acts faster to get more marijuana stores open, they warn their livelihoods are on the line.
It's happening so slow that people just can't sustain it.
The law passed last year allows up to 33 businesses to sell recreational marijuana. Growers say about a handful are able to operate right now, causing them to have too much product. There are more than 60 cultivators operating in the state.
Our big ask right now is for the Cannabis Control Commission to roll out the retail applications that DBR already has prepared to get it out into the community so that applicants can begin applying for those retail stores.
Cultivators say they have had to lay off staff, take out loans, and reduce their operation by half in order to keep their lights on. The governor took 1 year to appoint the 3 members to the Cannabis Control Commission. It's now before the full Senate to confirm those appointments, scheduled for next week. That commission is tasked with making decisions about the cannabis industry, including granting licenses for distributors. Cultivators are pleading with the soon-to-be-formed commission to use the work that's already been done by the OCR, the Office of Cannabis Regulation.
If they utilize all the work that's already been done by OCR, with prior applications, with zoning notices, letting cities and towns know now when to anticipate the application distribution, we can cut the time frame in half.
An advisory board also needs to be formed to work in conjunction with the Cannabis Control Commission, but spokespersons for the House and Senate say the CCC can begin regulating while the advisory board is being established. I'm Anita Buffoni, 12 News.
Rhode Island marijuana growers warn they could go out of business if the state doesn't do something, and soon.
The problem, there aren't enough places that sell what they're growing. 12 News reporter Anita Buffoni talked to those concerned cultivators today and explains what's causing the delay. Anita?
Marijuana cultivators say within 1 year they could be out of business if the state doesn't grant more retail stores to open soon. They grew enough product for dozens of promised distributors that regulators haven't yet licensed. Marijuana cultivators wanted to show strength in numbers, taking to the State House lawn to implore state leaders to pick up the pace with the recreational marijuana rollout. More than a dozen growers tell 12 News they are on the brink of losing their business.
Sales have been really off, and we're forced to lay off a lot of our staff. We're forced to slow down production.
Roughly 30 businesses are allowed to sell recreational marijuana under the law that passed last year, but only a handful are open. Because the Regulatory Commission tasked with overseeing the industry hasn't yet been formed, growers have too much marijuana on their hands.
As of right now, we haven't seen the opportunity that we invested in our marketplace yet.
After the governor took 1 year to appoint the 3 members of the Cannabis Control Commission, a Senate committee unanimously approved his picks Tuesday. It now goes before the full Senate next week. Cultivators are pleading with the OCR, the Office of Cannabis Regulation, to help speed up the process in the meantime.
We're not saying that the decision-making on applications or even the guidelines are done by OCR at this point, but they can do all the legwork so that when the commission's in place, they're not starting from scratch.
Now, there is an advisory board that has yet to be formed that will work with the Cannabis Control Commission. That 11-member board is still being picked. Spokespersons for the House and Senate tell me the CCC can begin regulating while the advisory board is being established. I'm Anita Buffoni, 12 News.